just walking you through a few fun things that I have been doing. I took the first time, for the first time last night, I decided to get in and use Replit. If you don't know what Replit is, it is basically a full stack software development tool. So basically, think somebody like me, not a coder. It's able to, in just natural language, you can talk to it and it will go out and create whatever you want it to create as an application. So I have this test that a friend and I put together about just a job analyzer. Looks at a job description, says, what in this job description could be automated through AI? So I created that last night. Now, the great thing about Replit is, it has a lot of great connections and everything. So let me show it to you here. All right. All right. Let's see. You know what? I will have to get right back because it does not have access to, well, let's just, there we go, share that. All right, so you can see this here, and what this is just an AI job opportunity analyzer is what it's called. So what I'll do is I'm going to redeploy it and open it up here, paste in what it is, AI job analyzer, and it's going to go in and it's going to actually, once it finishes building it, bundling it, and deploying it, it just simply has this. You can sign in, and then you can paste in a job description. So I can paste in any old job description. I just happen to have one here in LinkedIn that is a customer service type job. So let's just grab any old job description there. Customer service specialist. That's what we're going to do. This is the customer service specialist, and we take the job description, paste it in. And it analyzes the job. And so what it'll do is it'll go through, analyze that job. And this was, keep in mind, this was built in with Replit last night. And it cost about $27 total because it took about 5 or 6 hours of kind of tweaking it and figuring out exactly what it is I wanted to do with it. So it can, it can cost a little bit of money, but at the same time, I was able to quickly prototype exactly what it is that I wanted and throw it out there. So now you can see it actually went through, and these are all parameters I put into it. I can export it, I can refresh it, I can view full details of an AI-powered self-service FAQ bot. And it has this information about technical, business, and a plan. And I could even add it to a roadmap. And I could go back to the roadmap and look. Now, is it perfect yet? No, not quite. There it is on the roadmap. But it gets me to an MVP really quick. So this was less than $30. I have zero coding experience, and I was able to put this together and could deploy it. I could even add more to it, and make this a full-fledged website that I could put a paywall on and everything. Well, lo and behold, what happens as of today? Oh, you know what? I wasn't sharing my screen, all the right ones. So this is the AI job analyst. Yeah, so sorry. So I was doing all that. So here's where I pasted in the job description, and then went in here, viewed full details, technical, business plans, gives you kind of ROI impacts and the actual plan, an idea of estimated costs, timeline. Now this all goes through Google in the background, so it uses Gemini, just because that's the one that I was able to get hooked up properly to it. And it also gives, either agentic AI or generative AI, an idea about those. Now this isn't too bad. It does decently enough. But now let's look and see what Claude just came out with. This just came out today, and because I'm on the max plan with Claude, I get it for like 5 days. I think it's just a beta test. But this is absolutely amazing. So let's see, I don't think that's the right one I wanted to share with you. Because Claude basically does the same thing, but in typical fashion, they just amped it up. That's not what I wanted either. So Claude Imagine, for those that may be on the on the Claude Max plan, Claude just came out with Claude Imagine. All right. And what Claude Imagine is down to this bottom right, it is exactly that. It is what I just did with Replit, only within Claude. All right. Got a little boy that's pounding on my window. And so what you can do is you can do the same thing as I did with Replit. So what I actually did with Replit was I went in and said, hey, everything that we just did, can you just put that into a prompt that I can put into Claude? And then I went into Claude and said, hey, can we, here's a prompt for what I just created in Replit, except I want you to rebuild this, but I don't want you to necessarily use all the exact same tools, because there's tools that Replit has, and I don't know what tools Claude has behind it. So I'm gonna just show you what I did real quick. All right. So let's look into my apps, my AI Opportunity Analyzer. So what I did here, wish I could just share a screen. It's getting a little annoying though. All right. So I did this. So what it did was it just laid out, I said, create a single prompt I can paste into Claude Code to recreate everything you created in the AI Opportunity Analyzer. So it did that. It did this whole thing, and it gave exactly the way it built, front end, database, back end, the tools it used, but I don't know if it's going to, have the same tools. So we need to kind of prompt it so that it doesn't get confused, and so it knows it has free reign with Claude. So I'm going to tell it, this is a prompt from a Replit app that I just created. Recreate it using tools you have available. And then I just pasted it in. All right, so let's see what it does, and let's see what kind of time it takes. So this is this is what Claude just came out with. I just did this a little bit ago, and literally within a few minutes, it had this up, created, frankly, in a little bit nicer format, and there it is. So you saw what I had built in Replit. It just recreated it here in Claude Imagine. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want Anthropic to take this away at all. I am in love with it already, and I want more. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I can go in here and I can just analyze it with AI. And it's going to go, now it seems to me that when it's doing this, it didn't render the whole thing because obviously all the instructions on how to create it were there. As I click on things, I'm finding it's rendering, which I don't know if anybody follows Nate on Substack and YouTube and TikTok and that, but he talked about how with Claude, with 4.5 now, one of the things it does is it wants to have more of a human in the loop. So it will go in and it'll take steps. To me, it looks like it's taking steps. It's building things out only so far until you click on them. So for instance, here's what it just put together. So it already honestly has a nicer interface to this than what I had over in Replit. And of course, it built it right away. It didn't take me 5 hours, but then again, this isn't the full stack either. I don't know what kind of time that'll take. And if you notice down at the bottom, it's at this 25%. Once it hits 100,000, it's going to just basically shut down my session and say you can't do anymore. So I get it. This is in beta preview, but it's pretty cool. So we can click on here and say, okay, so it's got different categories, generative or agentic AI. I don't want to look at any low or medium. I only want to look at high ROI. So, and there we go. It just filtered them. So let's look at this complexity, 3 out of 5. Let's look at this high ROI, low complexity. So I'm going to click view details and it kicks me into this opportunity details window. And of course, as you can kind of see, it's building it as we go along. It didn't have it rendered already, but it's building it as we go along. And not only that, I love the fact that Claude, I love as just a general agentic search. I think it does much better in writing and understanding what you want it to do. So I can immediately go in and see it's got my overview, it's got my technical tab, and it's going to build that out as I click into it. It's got my add to roadmap, so I can add that to the roadmap, or its version of what it created as the roadmap. I like this recommended tools. It even tells you like how you could go in and what tools it would recommend. Open AI GPT-4, LangChain, Zen Desktop, Pinecone Vector DB. So it gives you ideas, hosting requirements, cloud-based, even gives you vCPUs and stuff. Wow. Business impact. Now this is where it gets really interesting. I really love the fact that under here, it really does a good job of evaluating what is the business impact of implementing this automated response generation system. So keep in mind, we took a job description, anybody's job description, and said, from this job description, what part of this job description could potentially, or this job could potentially be replaced by either agentic or generative AI. That's the goal of this. So business impact, it lays out time to value, potential time to value, expected ROI. Now, this, when I did this last time, what it's doing is it actually goes out and grabs industry standards, is what it said on this. So we'll add some things in a little bit here. But yeah, it looks implementation and operating costs, net benefit after a year. Obviously, that's just basically made up generalization. And it even gives an implementation plan. Like as a project manager, man, that's amazing. So you have a place to start. testing and training, validation, launch. Now, this obviously is in a more of a waterfall looking format, but easily could be moved into an agile. Now, key risks and mitigation. Ooh, so it even gives some risks. I love that. So that's pretty cool. I can click add to roadmap, and I clicked it, and I think what it's actually doing is as you click it, it's coding it in the background because it knows what it wants to do. But I think that's why it's taking so long. So I'm going to just close this down, and I'm going to go to the roadmap. And let's see what it does. And Anthropic, you've done it. I mean, you've knocked it out of the park with this. This is in beta, and this is absolutely transformative. If you can just fully develop this full stack and deploy it straight into businesses like this, oof. So yeah, there's the roadmap. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a few recommendations because I'm going to view the details again. A few things I noticed. Let's add a disclaimer that these are potential ROIs and not expected. Let's improve the interface look and feel by 10x so it's easier to use and more inviting. Let's see, anything else? Make sure all timelines and costing say where the baselines come from. Let's see how it does with that. So it's going to just go in, it's going to think for a minute, and we'll see what it does. Of course, maybe I shouldn't have clicked discover AI opportunity. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's already. Wow. So it has text input, batch input, where I can add multiple jobs. All right, let's just grab another job, just any old job off LinkedIn. A call center representative. We're going to throw that in there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a couple of different jobs in here. And let's not just look at that. Let's also look at like a program director, something a little more complex and high level. Let's see how it does with a couple different ones. Oh yeah, that's got a whole lot more information to it in that program director role. So this is, now we're going to analyze all the jobs. You can add up to 10 jobs for batch processing. So it went ahead and did, so looks like it discovered 2 AI implementation opportunities across, or 7 AI implementation opportunities across 2 job roles. So those 2 jobs. It gives me categories, nice ROIs on the side. All right. Oh, this is nice. Potential savings. So it's already changing this interface a little bit. I like that. And it's going through. It does take a little bit to render. And I would imagine that's just because it's going out and doing each of these, you know, one at a time sequentially. I would imagine once this gets to prime time, depending obviously on what you want to pay, um, boy, this could be really, really slick. Talk about quickly creating a full app to deploy internally for what you need. And then being able to go back and you're testing it right here as you're building it out. And then, I mean, once you deploy it, you can always go back in and just say, oh, this isn't working right. Fix it and redeploy. 5 minutes later, that bug is fixed. Even better, someone's out there doing it, and I guarantee this is where it's going to go. Someone's out there using it, and it'll have an entire queue that people can just say, hey, I want this fixed, and it'll automatically manage all of it. Oof. If you're in school for software engineering, be careful. This is, boy, this is going to be a rough one. It's not going to replace software engineers, but boy, is it going to really whittle down exactly the job that you do. And a lot of this beginning stuff that you would have learned on, it's going to be, you're going to have a lot of ground to make up. So let's look at this. Automated program performance analytics. What is this one here? Faculty performance coaching agent, smart corporate partnership matcher, AI-driven curriculum development assistant, intelligent knowledge base assistant. Actually, that one sounds pretty interesting. Let's look at that one. So some of these are ones that, I mean, I wouldn't even have necessarily thought of. And that's the beauty behind this job analyzer, is it is able to go out and think of things you would never think about simply by looking at the job description and saying, what are the issues behind what they're saying? What are the opportunities behind what they're saying the job description is? So this just basically opens up everybody's job to what is it that I can offload to automation and AI. Now, this one specifically looks specifically at generative AI and agentic AI, but there's no reason that you can't say, you know, root it in, we're on the Microsoft Power Platform, use only options that are available there, and let's put together ideas and plans on what we can do with the Microsoft Power Platform to implement this, and then just give you full instructions. All right, so what do we have here? Disclaimer, all financial projections and timelines are potential estimates based on similar SMB insurance call center implementations. Oh, nice. Yes, because I did create this really with a focus on small to medium-sized businesses, not necessarily large businesses, although I don't see why it wouldn't work elsewhere. But given specific parameters within your company, this can be tweaked. So let's look at the technical. Let's see what it has underneath technical. All right, let's make that a little bigger. All right, recommended tools. So this is the Intelligent Knowledge Base Assistant. So it's a generative AI for training and support. There's a medium ROI and a 2 out of 5 complexity. So on the lower end, so it tells you some recommended tools. Language GPT-4 for model generation, generating contextual response from retrieved knowledge. A vector database for semantic search across policy documents. Framework, you can use LangChain, RAG orchestration or retrieval augmented generation, and prompt management framework, REST API layer. Now this is where I would really want to bring in, the coders, bring in the engineers to say, okay, what's right, what's wrong with this? Is this something that we can do? Now the great thing about this is you can absolutely customize this for your company. I imagine a large company, this is absolute gold for you to identify where it is you can implement things just simply by job descriptions. and then have your engineers comb through it and say, yes, this works, or no, that doesn't. What I find with AI, the beauty behind it is it'll get you 0 to 80% of the way there in an instant. And so it gets you those ideas. This is pretty cool. So knowledge base ingestion, deployment models, hosting and infrastructure even. So it gets into that infrastructure specs based on deployment handling, 50 to 200 concurrent users with sub 2-second response times. I mean, that's going further than even what I thought of. So that's fantastic. All right, so business impact. These are potential ROI projections, not guaranteed outcomes. Actual savings vary significantly based on your call volume, team size, existing infrastructure efficiency, yada, 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 the normal stuff. If you're project manager, we got to scope it out. We've got to do a baseline of current state, and then we have to figure out what that future state looks like. So it's estimating 8 to 10 weeks. Obviously, this is just this is a spitball just to give you an idea. Potential annual savings, obviously, this assumes 30 call center reps handling 60,000 calls. So great, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for kind of what this is based off of. Labor cost baselines. Wow, this is actually pretty great. So you could actually align your own personal business requirements and current state to, well, this is what it says. How does my current state estimate to this? And then see if it holds true. That would be a really interesting ROI projection if you actually implemented this. All right, answer accuracy rate. It's even giving you key impact metrics. New rep onboarding, 40% training time reduction. All right, implementation plan. Let's look at this. So keep in mind, we just did this since I went live. This takes something I'd created in 5-6 hours in Replit, took the prompt of what we'd created there, put this into Claude Imagine, which is new out, I think today, and just created this app. Now, I can't deploy it because this is test. I can't do anything else. I can't put like a full database behind it, with security, paywalls, logins, any of that. But I can imagine that's exactly where it's going because that's what Claude's competing with. This is a direct competitor to Lovable, to Replit, to all of these others. And it makes so much sense that they're doing it because Claude Code is the best that's out there. So this is the next step. And this is absolutely, I think, going to take businesses by storm. This reduces the barriers to entry so much. So implementation phases, knowledge-based preparation, audit and collect all policy documents. Man, establish content update workflow for ongoing maintenance. This is actually pretty darn good. Set up vector databases. And, we could even get into developing out these plans even more. Implementation services, $28,000, OpenAI. API costs, year one, 60,000 queries at 3 cents each. Now I'd want to make sure that all of these are right. And wow, key risks. All right, so one of the things I want to add on to here is it has key risks and mitigation strategies, but I want to look at add in what are the risks for meeting the potential ROI. How can we represent that since not everything may line up with our estimates? All right, so I think we might be about to hit. Oh, all right. We might be about to hit our limit, and then it's going to just stop us. But as you can see so far, this was pretty slick. This is what I'm going to show everybody. It is just phenomenal that Claude Imagine is out there. They just rolled it out, beta testing. They say it's a temporary thing, so I don't know what that's going to mean other than I'm already wishing I don't want them to take it away. I want them to give me more. I want to be able to push this out already because I love it. So let's see what it's doing here. Let's exit out of the opportunity details. Let's look at our roadmap. So yeah, that did a really good job. I mean, so if you can imagine just being able to click something and saying, make this, throw a database on the back end of this, throw a paywall on the front of it, go ahead and make it so that it's available not only on the web, but also for all your phones, which you can do in Replit. You can basically say, hey, is this going to be, smartphone enabled, web enabled, so that it adjusts appropriately, and you can test it on each of the different types of, main phones. All right, let's see what we get. Oh, 95,000, we're at 95%. It's gonna. All right. So we are pretty much there. So it went ahead and, yeah, it redid it a little bit. And let's see what it's going to do here. But I have to admit, so this is pretty cool. This is Imagine with Claude, and it is pretty phenomenal. If you have the Claude Max subscription, which is stupid expensive, but it is well worth it if you use Claude a lot. Highly recommend. You can come check this out, see what you think. I'd love to get your feedback. Leave a comment below, and this looks like it's going to be available for this week, so I'm going to probably be playing with it a few more times this week to kind of see what else I can create, what other kind of cool ideas. So yeah, this is phenomenal. Thank you all for your time today, and man, get out there and build something, because they've just lowered the barriers of entry for everybody. If you have an idea, you can build it, and you can at least get that MVP out there to where now you can, engage the folks that are going to really take it to where it's customer ready. So have fun.